can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
Where are you with interview with a vampire?
I haven't jumped into anything else because I was gone last week, then I came back, and then this weekend has been a blur of all the stuff. So,
Holy cow.
yeah,
So you've only watched the first episode twice.
correct.
Wow.
So,
Did you see that they're doing another series? I
yeah,
sent
you said the witches or something.
Well, they're doing one on the Talamasca, which is a subplot of both many vampire books and many witch book, all the witch books actually.
Okay.
And it's a great idea for a series. It's kind of like the X-Files, only this organization's old as Jesus Christ. I mean, they've been studying supernatural phenomenon since the dawn of time, really. And
Okay.
they're now, sophisticated like the FBI, and they know that they're real reluctant to study vampires because they know how dangerous vampires are. They're less reluctant to study the witches. But I mean, this would be a totally original series just based on that concept.
Well, yeah, they're
and
like the CIA vampire hunters.
Kind of. Yeah. And you met one. Oh, well, you haven't met him yet, but there's one in interview. His name is Raglan James. He comes along second season, I think. And then there was one in The Witches as well, another agent. Or I call it an agent. I don't know what you would call it. I'm curious to see what they do, and I hope that it's not just a giant band-aid they're trying to put on the Witch series, because they're going to tie it in. I mean, it's inevitable. Yeah. It's already tied in,
right?
Basically. So we will see. But there are great characters she created in both the Witch and the Vampire books that are from the Talamasca. So I'm kind of curious. One of them's name's Aaron something. Aaron Leitner, I think's his name. And then Raglan James. Interesting. Raglan James is played by a good actor too. I can't think of his name. He was in Weeds and he was in Angels in America. Something Smith, Justin Smith, maybe. I can't remember. You'll recognize him as soon as you see him, because he has a scene with Eric Bogosian in a restaurant.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watching Bogosian again made me want to just go back and just rewatch Talk Radio. I love that movie anyway, and I love that play. So
I may have sent you an interview. I can't remember, but there was an interview with him and the guy that plays Armand talking about the series and the future of the series. It's out there if you want to look for it, because Armand was like saying that the guy that plays Armand was saying he read the book, The Vampire Armand, to research the character. And the whole time I was thinking they could spin that off into its own series easy if they wanted to.
Well, there's a wealth of literature there to pull from. So
20 books at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, probably more content and more allusion to content than Walking Dead had.
For sure. Oh, yeah, because what they're doing with Walking Dead now is all original and made up. The spinoffs.
Yeah, they've outdone, they've done the Game of Thrones thing. They're beyond the current written content.
Yeah, because he quit. I mean, he's not writing any more of that stuff. He's writing other things. So
right. So all that's good. I mean, yeah.
I was going to ask you something else. I can't remember. I haven't started The Boys. I started the new season of The Bear, and I'm 3 episodes in. The first episode has hardly any dialogue at all in it. They're always doing crazy shit like that.
I saw a meme the other day, or I know it was Reddit. It was on Reddit, and they said, "I just started The Bear, quick question for all you fans out there. Does the yelling ever stop?
No,
And I went,
because
have you never been in the kitchen of a restaurant?
and every other word is fuck. But what's funny is the first episode of this season is it's just music. There's very little dialogue.
Mm.
Some of it's flashback, some of it's current, some of it you don't even really know. And then the second episode is nonstop yelling and cussing. I was like, it's the polar opposite of the first episode. I was like, holy shit. And it all takes place in probably about a half an hour. It's like he's in there working on the menu. He's got some plans for changing some things. His second in command comes in. They start kind of arguing about how this is impossible to do. Then the third guy comes in and all the yelling starts. And then the rest of the staff is slowly coming into the argument one at a time. And I'm like, this is great. I don't know how. I mean, it's so. The only way I can explain it is that it's minimal and small, but he expands on those minimal moments. It's very much like what I like doing when I write. Let's just dig deeper and deeper into the current thing going on, and it's just beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah. But there is a lot of yelling. Like Dennis will leave the room. He can't handle it.
Is that show half an hour?
Yeah.
Or is it an hour? It's
a half hour.
Okay.
They're very experimental. Whoever's doing it likes to try, one shot for an entire episode or one episode with no language or no dialogue. I mean, he's very creative. So it's fun to watch, especially when you realize what's happening. You're like, oh, I see what he's doing. Or he'll have a Christmas episode that's an hour long with a bunch of guest stars. It's crazy because it's family and he has all these different people playing family. But,
all right. Well,
yeah, I highly recommend it.
Add that to the list again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. But I would watch the interview first. If you're looking for vampires and genre.
Definitely.
And I watched the first of the 2 episodes of the X-Files last night, and I forgot how damn funny that episode is.
Yeah.
Fine, sure, whatever.
Hate her.
The funny stuff's between him and Gillian Anderson. Man, it is some funny dialogue. But
I'm withholding comment till tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything.
No.
3, 2,
1. So what you been doing?
Working. It's been a busy 2 weeks.
Me too.
Definitely.
I keep thinking that I can get some of this launch stuff. I made a pre-order for my book that's not until August 22nd. I said, that's going to give me a lot of time to set up promos and get all this stuff rolling so that it hits on that day. And so I was like, now I have time to start work on that other short book that I would like to release in late September, early October.
Yeah.
And everything has snowballed into, I've got this amount of time, but I need to be doing this now because if I schedule them now, I'll get good time slots. And I need to reach out to all these personal assistants. So this morning I was like emailing like 20 personal assistants saying, who are the authors that you represent? And can I post in their group in August, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So it's never ending. But I mean, it's good, because I've never been this far in advance with a pre-order. So it's got me time to set up. I haven't sent a newsletter out yet to my list because I've got over 3,000 people on my list. But I put up banners on my romance Facebook pages and accounts just saying, a quote from the book, a picture of the cover, pre-order now. And I'm already getting pre-orders and I haven't even really pushed it. I've just put a picture up.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's great.
For not being around for 2 years is especially good. Because I haven't released in over 2 years.
Wow.
So, and everyone's like, welcome back. I'm like, thank you.
3, 2.
1. So at night to unwind before I go to sleep, I've been watching an episode of The Bear because it's only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man. That show is like some of the best television I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is good. I was kind of worried because going into it, the podcast I listened to, the woman said, "Oh yeah, this season's not that great." I was like, "I don't trust your judgment." And I don't. I told Dennis, we've been listening to them for almost 20 years. I said, "You know what? They don't have good taste in a lot of stuff." You know, Derek is currently watching reruns of Desperate Housewives, and Romaine likes comedies and stuff. So I'm
Okay.
like, yeah. Well, and granted, The Bear is not a comedy. It is in that category, but it is not really a comedy at all.
Okay.
But yeah, what's great about this season is that now that you know the characters that were smaller in past episodes, they can deep dive into, just like in Lost or one of those shows where all of a sudden you
Right.
get to see where they came from and why they're there. And they did one on, I can't think of her name. She's a little Hispanic lady. I think she's going to win an Emmy. Her episode just blew me away.
Well, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it was about her being let go from her company after 15 years, trying to find a job because her husband's a doorman and they have a kid and they don't want to move and no one will hire her. And most of the people that she speaks to are children that don't even pay attention to her because she's an older woman. And she's going in and
Mhm.
taking paper resumes, and no one takes those anymore. And
Yeah.
it is heartbreaking. And she basically stumbles into the sandwich shop and they gets a free sandwich and a free cup of coffee because the guy's nice and sits at a table eating and crying. You're like, oh my God, this is how she ends up working there because no
Yeah.
one else will hire her. And she was a payroll person. It wasn't like she didn't have a degree, but it wasn't like she wasn't skilled.
Yeah.
No one would just listen. No one would hire her. No one would even take the time to look at her. And when you watch that episode, you will love it. It is great. And anyway, it's about mid-season, third season.
Okay.
And it's just a deep dive into that one character.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have not been able to interview because now they've got it on a paywall. So, and I'm not a member of AMC Plus or whatever it frickin' is. So,
Oh, you haven't been able to watch it? Oh my
no,
God.
I keep trying to find ways around it. And is there another? And is anybody got it, through something else? And no,
What?
it pissed me off.
How did you watch the first one?
They did the thing they normally do where you can watch the first episode, and if you want to watch the rest of it, you have to do the paywall. So it's AMC Plus, I think, is where it's up to, where it is now. But it's not anywhere else. I can't watch it through Apple. I can't watch it through any other Amazon, anything else, because it's AMC.
You can't buy it
I don't think so.
like
I
on
haven't tried that.
Amazon
No, like to rent sort of
or
thing? Yeah.
buy. I mean, sometimes you can buy a season of something. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't looked at buying a season of it because I've only seen the first episode.
I think it may be on Shudder. Sometimes they just put the first episode on Shudder too.
Right.
But the thing is I don't know if I think I told you this already. I plan on just stopping Shudder and getting AMC Plus because it's the same price and includes Shudder and 4 other services
Right. Yeah.
like
Makes sense.
BBC, IFC, and Sundance have stuff you never see. So
Of
that would be
course.
worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about doing. I think it's $6.99 a month for ads, $8.99 a month without ads, or you can get a reduced rate if you pay for a year.
Okay.
And since I already pay $6.99 for Shudder, it just makes sense to go either pay $2 more and just get no commercials
Yep. That makes
and get
sense.
all of those. So that's what I think I'm going to
We'll do, what is it, Tarantula?
It's either that or
Because
Invisible Man.
I've already finished it. I've already
You know what? It is Tarantula.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
I never think of that being Universal. That's so funny.
Well, they can't market it. It's hard to have that with it's like occasionally people don't think of Creature from the Black Lagoon, even though I think it's one of the best.
It's one of the last, if I remember
Right.
right. And a lot of people don't think of King Kong and Godzilla, but somehow they fall in there too. King Kong especially. Because remember we
Jekyll
talked
Hyde.
about it, that Universal acquired the rights to King Kong.
Yep.
And then I want to say they may have acquired the American rights to Godzilla. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they didn't, but I know all those Aurora monster models included King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah. I've got in doing some research and looking around and stuff, I've went to YouTube and caught a bunch of, essentially YouTubers or podcasters or whatever the new term is for them or whatever. And parts of it make me feel really good because what you reminded me of it because I got on this one guy and he was doing Tarantula just because his channel only does Gojira, big. What the hell was that?
I
Did you
don't
just
know.
see
That
the
was
freaking
weird.
balloons?
It almost made it look like you had magic powers.
I know.
You were
that
doing
was-
this and
Did I
colors
do
went
something?
up.
How did the freaking bubbles appear?
It wasn't bubbles.
Go
It looked psychedelic to
uh,
me.
balloons or something. What the hell was that? Anyway, go. We'll have to look at that on the video. I don't
Well,
know
it'll
what.
be in an outtake. Although I really like Doctor Who too. It's just sci-fi.
Which is good. That's a good thing. I know Joe did not like it.
Did not
Joe
like Doctor
felt
Who.
No, he felt like they were shoehorning a bunch of stuff into it, which, possibly, I don't know.
What kind of stuff?
He just said shoehorning agendas into it. So I'm not sure. I guess didn't they have a girl as a Doctor Who like 2 years ago or something?
They did.
Um,
And this is the gay one. However, or whatever he is, fluid. I don't know what he is.
Fluid.
But I went and did some research, and Russell T Davies, who is the mastermind behind it right now, the showrunner or whatever, I told you he did Queer as Folk, which was
Yeah.
a landmark BBC series that got spun off into an American series.
Yeah.
But he didn't start now. He started in 2005.
Yeah.
So
was
he's
in
been
the
doing,
original reboot.
yeah. So he was doing it before it went gay. You know what I'm saying? He didn't
Went
make it go
gay.
gay. No, I'm serious. And then he probably did introduce a woman eventually, and now this character. But when he says shoehorn stuff, I thought he might meant homages because there for a while it seemed like every episode was playing up to a famous franchise. The first one reminds me of Terry Gilliam. The second one or third one is Alien with
Okay.
babies, which is kind of
Okay.
funny. There are these babies on this ship, but there's this alien monster on one level of the ship. And then you find out why it happened. I mean, they're all good stories. I don't care what he says. It's pretty good. I liked it. I would call it sci-fi light for some, but for some of the episodes are pretty heavy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was just his comment on it. I haven't seen any of the ones since. Wow. I mean, I didn't even watch. I never watched any of the ones with the female doctor, and I haven't watched any of the new season. And even before that, I didn't watch like the last 2 years right before that.
They've
think
had some good
after-
guys playing him, and I've not watched them.
Well, I really got into it when it came back, and that was with him and Moffat and everyone else, and they did. I think the doctor was
Tennant.
no before Tenet. was the one before him who only lasted a season. Eccleston, I think, and he only lasted a season. And he was really, really good. And
Is that the guy
then
from 28 Days Later? Because he was in there too, the military guy. He was one. I think his name is Daniel Eccleston. I think you're right.
I think that's. Do they have them in order? The doctors? All doctors in order. Hold on, let me tell you real quick. Blah blah blah. First one, yada yada. So the new one is Nikuti Gatwa.
I say cutie. I feel like that N may be silent. Cutie
Cutie
Gatwa.
Gatwa. Okay. So David Tennant was the 14th, but he's only there he came back for a year, it looks like. Okay, that's weird. Anyway,
Christopher Eccleston is the guy from 28 Days Later.
so in 2005 is when I started watching it again. That was with Christopher Eccleston. Then it went to David Tennant. He was there for 5 years. I watched like every one. And then Matt Smith started, and he was really good.
All three of those are good actors.
And Matt Smith had a cool arc. And then when it went to Peter Capaldi, I stopped watching.
I don't know who he is. And the only reason I'm watching this is because of Cutie and Sex Education, because he's just great. I mean, he can look at him. He can give you a close up, and you just see 10 emotions in his face at the same time. He is that good. He's Rwandan and Scottish. That's his background.
There you go.
But yeah,
well,
what I
really liked about what Moffat and Eccleston and all of them did to it was change it up. So they took the camp out of it and treated it much more like a straight science fiction show.
Okay.
And up until then, it had really fallen into bad, almost like children's theater camp stuff. It was just really bad. And they were enjoying the fact that it was that bad. It was, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that mentality to it. And they kind of said, no, we can redo the Doctor and bring the Doctor back to be a really cool emotional character. And
okay, that's what this is. You may confuse it with camp because it's gorgeous and brightly colored, but it is not camp. It is very nuanced with emotion. I mean, there's a lot of emotion in this. So,
well, I think what this writer, what was his name again? Davies, right?
Russell T. Davies.
I think what he does give it is a lot of emotion. And what Moffat gave it is what he did with Sherlock, which is a lot of plotting and a lot of kind of some through arcs that go through the season.
That's exactly how this is. Each show is an individual show, but there is a through line story.
Right.
Yeah.
And giving the Doctor some weaknesses. Up until that point, the Doctor was kind of like he always triumphed in every situation. In Eccleston's thing, there were a couple episodes where he lost. He didn't achieve the good thing. Kind of thing. And that was really good.
There's one episode in this one where these people live on this planet. It's kind of like Logan's Run. They're all young and they walk around with this like transparent bubble on their head, and it's their computer. There's a little tiny dot above it that projects the computer around their head, and they basically are on their screens all day. Sound familiar? And they can't function without it. They can't walk down the street and turn right on a different street without it telling them to do it. And meanwhile, they're all disappearing because these giant slugs are eating them, because they are unaware of them because they are in these bubbles. You will love it. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You see the parallel there? I mean, that's the one Dennis goes to immediately. Dennis is like, oh my God, that is great. And meanwhile, there's these giant, ugly slugs eating them. And there's very few left, and they have to escape. And it does not end happy. It ends.
That's like that Black Mirror episode, which is all done on the credits that you get from social media, giving everybody points. So like if somebody's a Karen at a store, all these people start taking her points away from her and everything else. And if you do something really good for people, they'll start good. But it affects you because now your rent is determined by how popular you are. So if you start losing money, losing points, you start paying more for things. And eventually you end up being homeless
That's
and
great.
starving and all this because you weren't liked by the community.
Yeah.
It's a really cool story, subplot
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah,
We
that sounds
should-
cool.
I need to do Black Mirror, but we let go of Netflix and we haven't renewed it yet. We've been letting it go for a while because it just didn't have anything on it anymore that I cared about.
Yeah.
So, but I know we were talking about doing it for maybe a Patreon, but I was just thinking maybe we should do this season of Doctor Who because you would be coming at a standpoint from someone who is familiar with it, you and me, who had never seen any of the others.
Oh yeah, true.
That'd
That would
be
be
interesting. Yeah.
Just to do this season.
Yeah.
And maybe not do another one, but yeah. that'd be
No, I
cool.
couldn't do them all. I don't want to go back and watch all those.
Oh, God knows.
No.
No, even back to the 2005. No.
Yeah. But they have renewed it. It's coming back. So,
But you should, since you've got the subscription and everything else, you should look up the very first episode with the Weeping Angels. It is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen on television.
is it? But I don't think Disney Plus has all those. Now, if I got that Shutter Plus, it may come with BBC America. I don't know.
Well, and you might be able to find it somewhere else. I wonder if
YouTube.
someone else has it on YouTube or whatever, because
Okay.
it is very impactful for Doctor Who lore. And it's also, it's scary as hell. It is very scary.
All right.
Okay, let's do this.
So,
We got 3, 2.
1.
You can't start the car. Johnny